Coach, talk about the victorious weekend you guys had in Ohio.
We're able to pick up a couple of pretty important wins on the road. You always want to pick up as many as you can, especially in this conference. But go down to Ohio. We hadn't played at Lake Erie yet. Hadn't really seen them, so we were interested to see what playing in their gym was going to be like. And they did a nice job. A young program. They battled pretty hard. And then to go into Ashland, get a pretty important win there in the South. They've been doing pretty well. So that was a couple of pretty good road wins for us.
Talk about how practice is going, things you guys are working on, things you guys need to improve on.
Well, this weekend was a good example. I think we were able to step up and show a little bit of what we've been working on. Our consistency has been a bit of an issue, a little bit within matches, but mostly from one match to the next, mentally coming back and battling the second day, putting two good matches together. So to play a pretty tough match on our second day this weekend and to really put the pieces together to do well, I think is a sign of what we've been working on in practice, working on our consistency, working on our mental approach to getting back on the court and just playing the game, playing tough and bringing our best game on multiple days in a row. And it's starting to pay off.
Yeah, speak to the maturity level of your team, how they've progressed throughout the season to this point.
Well, we're blessed with a pretty good-sized senior class, so we should have a lot of maturity. But a couple of those upperclassmen hadn't spent a lot of time on the floor yet. So as a team, we weren't quite as mature. We didn't play as mature as we'd expected earlier on. We needed to develop a little bit more, get a little more game experience. But now that we're getting that and we're kind of finding what pieces can help and what pieces need to continue to develop, we're starting to really find some good combinations, some good players that can step in and help when it's needed, and somewhat adjust what we have on the floor to what we need based on who we're playing. And that's always a plus to have the kind of depth to be able to do that. So we're about halfway through the season. I think we're about on track where we'd like to be. Started maybe a little bit slower than what we expected with all the maturity and the seniors that we have. But things are starting to come together, and pretty happy with where we are.
Big weekend coming up, the GLVC GLIAC crossover tournament in Chicago. Preview the weekend.
Well, we got our schedule. We've got a nice cross-section from the GLVC that we get to play. We start off with Missouri St. Louis on Friday, and then Southern Indiana later in that day, and then we get to wrap up with Indianapolis. We've developed kind of a fun little rivalry with Indy over the last couple of years. Seems like we face them every year somewhere. We played them earlier this year at their place and barely lost in 5. And weren't really playing very well at that point in the season, and I think maybe they were struggling a little bit too. We're both playing quite a bit better. So I think that's mentally going to be a little bit of the focus of the weekend. But it's not going to matter if we don't take care of business and step up our game for the first 2 matches on Friday as well. Those teams appear to be playing pretty well. So it's a big weekend for us as far as us continuing our improvement, continuing our development, being able to bring good matches back to back to back. It'll be a good sign of whether we are making the progress there that we think we're making. And of course, the crossovers develop strictly for the regional rankings, for the national picture as to where you fit and hopefully making it into the regional tournament. So that's really our goal, is to have a good showing, play well, and show that we deserve a spot in the top 8 when the region rankings come out.
Becky, you had 2 big wins this past weekend, both sweeps down in Ohio against Lake Erie and Ashland. Tell us about those victories.
Well, we were just playing really well both days. The first day, Lake Erie put up a pretty competitive fight, and a lot of the girls who don't normally get a chance to show what they've got some time and did really good things for us. So that was really great. And then against Ashland, we hit over 500 as a team, and it was amazing to watch because I don't think I've ever seen every single person on our team hit as well as we did that day.
Talk about stuff you guys are working on in practice, things you are doing well and stuff you need to improve on.
Well, we've been working a lot on our serve receive and our blocking. Mainly our blocking we need to improve on, but I think we've really stepped up and shown some real progress, and we're hoping that this weekend we can show the teams that we're going to be playing that they're going to have a big block to fight around to get those kills.
So talk about this weekend, the crossover tournament in Chicago, 3 matches. Tell us about the weekend.
Everybody's really excited. We're playing the 3 top teams in the GLVC, and that was one of our goals as a team, was to be ranked in the top 4 to get to play those teams and get another chance to beat Indy, which we're really excited just to have the opportunity to play against some really good competition, and hopefully we're going to get a chance to grow and see what we can do, maybe get a chance to get into the tournament.